Anybody who knows me knows the love I have for Austin Osman Spare. As someone whose formative years in both life and the occult really took place in the late 80s and through the 90s, there was a big resurgence at the time of Spare, based around a lot of musical groups at the time, magical movements, chaos magic, all that stuff. I was a huge fan, still am to this day, of bands like Coil and Psychic TV, who were heavily influenced by the likes of Austin Osman Spare. He had a major influence, his work with sigils and just a lot of his ideas and everything, and a major influence on my approach to magic and the occult. Obviously there was a huge resurgence brought on probably by, I'd say, Kenneth Grant with his books in the 70s. And then there was also a resurgence in the early 90s of Kenneth Grant's work getting republished by Scoob, I think, publishing at the time. So Spare has kind of always been kind of there, probably on the outskirts of a lot of the occult community, but he's always been present. Mainly we're in the chaos magic world. With the time of this recording, we're probably about a week out, I believe, from hearing when the Kickstarter is finally going to ship for the Lost Envoy deck and revised edition of this book. This has probably been the closest thing I have to a unicorn deck ever since I received this book when this came out in 2016. Showcasing Spare's tarot deck. I've been fascinated by it and wanting to work with it, but I figured that was never going to happen. Thankfully, they have found the way to be able to print this deck, and it's been a lot of work from my understanding, but they're almost there. There's a lot of reasons for that. The way these cards interconnect with each other is just kind of crazy. There's just a lot of overlapping images you see on the sides here, where they can match up with multiple cards. There's a lot of imagery of things that are coming off the sides, but they can get aligned, and that will change the meanings and just give all new layers to an already amazing looking deck, honestly. So I'm just excited. I cannot wait to see it. But with that, I figured, now would be time. Let's look at this original book. This is the original release in 2016 from Strange Attractor. I don't remember how many of these were made. It wasn't a huge amount. I feel very lucky that I had gotten this. I don't think it says anywhere about the account. But it really is a great book. It's, I'd say, half guidebook to the deck, and then half collection of essays that are biographical in nature about Spare, and the way he works with cards, and this deck specifically. There's a lot of things about biographical items in his life of, the Witch Patterson lady who was supposedly so influential in his childhood and taught him how to read the cards, but nobody actually really knows if she existed I think the common perception is that she probably didn't. So there's a lot of just like little items, just take a quick, it's tons of imagery and, pictures of some of Spare's work. Obviously a lot of pictures of his cards, a lot of close-up details. Here, this is a perfect example of what I was just talking about, of how the cards will line up. So I'm sure getting printing for this has been a nightmare for, and based on some of the posts that Mark and Jamie have posted from Strange Attractor on the Kickstarter, it sounds like it has been nuts. But yeah, there's a lot of really good information in this. This is a quick look at the contents. There's just a lot of just little writings. Essay or contribution from Phil Baker, who, I made sure to bring out I pulled out the biography. This is, if you have any interest in Austin Osman Spare and want to learn more about him and his life, this is the book to get. This came out originally in 2011. It was a really small print run. Yeah, I have 152 of 200. 2011. Highly recommend this. This was just re-released in a revised edition that's available in paperback through Strange Attractor. I believe you can also get it on Amazon. I will put links below. If there's any Amazon links, there'll be affiliate links. I'll get a small percentage if you purchase through there. It doesn't change the cost at all for you. But yeah, this was a great book. I really like Phil Baker. I like his writing. Here's another fun book, the City of the Beast, which is about Crowley and all his different haunts throughout London, which is, I didn't pull it out, but I'll put a link in the description for it. But highly recommend this book. Yeah, I think it just came out like last month again. So perfect timing, honestly. So hopefully this will be even a bigger resurgence for Spare. But yeah, I figured let's look through this book really quick and show what's going to be in, because so in the Kickstarter and obviously outside the Kickstarter, they're re-releasing the hardcover book in a new edition. There's going to be some more information in it, some new information that came out after the publication of this in 2016. The new edition looks really nice based on the pictures I've seen. It's going to be like the hardcover is going to be like an all black. They're taking this paper and this is now becoming the end papers. Why this is all different colored cards falling, basically. The Austin Osman Spare's personal deck that he hand drew, the card backs are in different colors. Which I think I have pictures of some of that here. So, this is, like I said, this is a really cool book. It's tons of little sections on it, and then it does get into basically, this is the original bookmark that came with the Phil Baker book. But yeah, I mean, originally, this book is just a series of all cards. I don't want to obviously show them all, but it goes through every card that he has. I think there is one that is missing, and then you get the Inquirer card. yeah, so here's the card backs. They're all different colors. They're blocks of different colors. It's broken out, but yeah, and then within the book itself, you do get kind of a breakdown for each card and what they mean, and some of the writing that's on it. As you can see. So it'll really help with reading. It's going to be I think it's going to be a difficult deck to read with. I really, really want it. I mean, I love Spare. I love Spare's work. Like I said, he's been very important to me throughout my, occult career. I don't really know how to say that, but throughout my studies, I feel like the artwork is it's great, but like there's just so much information there, and there's obviously reversals written in, correspondences to other cards, how they're going to read together if they show up together in the same reading. So I'm very curious to see what new information is in the revised edition. And I'm really interested to play with the actual cards themselves. I am so happy that Strange Attractor was able to do this. There's only one copy of this deck in existence. It's at the Magic Circle Museum. And they were able to get their hands on on it and be able to scan everything perfectly for this book, and then later to do their deck. So yeah, I mean, I hope everybody else is as excited as I am. I don't know if the hardcover will be open. I'm assuming it's going to be open to the public outside of Kickstarter. I know if you back the Kickstarter, you're able to upgrade to the hardcover. I definitely upgraded at the time. One comment I will say, I love Strange Attractor. They're one of my favorite publishing companies. I buy a lot of books from them and have for a long time. This was a brutal Kickstarter, I will say. They definitely could have handled it a little bit better. I think at times they don't do enough updates, and you can see that looking through the comments. So if they do another Kickstarter, I hope they take that into account going forward. But I have all the trust and faith in them that they are going to put out a great product. It is, from my understanding, a project that's near and dear to them. It's very important to them. Obviously, they've released, a number of Spare-related items, books. They had Death Posture patches back in the day, which I have a couple. I should have pulled it out. But there's there's a lot of excitement around this, and I really hope that it's as good as I am hoping it's going to be. I don't want to be disappointed. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. Like I said, this was the closest thing I have to a unicorn deck. So I will obviously do a comparison video once the new book arrives. Hopefully, I'm assuming it's not going to happen, unfortunately, this year. My guess is they'll start shipping later this month at the very earliest. So we're probably looking at a January, February. I think if you look, I believe Amazon has a listing for the new paperback of this already, and I think it said something about February 2024. So let's hope that they're a little bit off, or maybe that's when it's going to go to public release. I know the books are all done. They have them in their hands. I think they were just waiting, doing some finalizing on the cards themselves. But yeah, no, it should be interesting. So hopefully this gets people excited and aware of the new book coming out. I'm very excited to see the change in the hardcover, because as you can see, this has a little bit of shelf wear, just because of the matte finish on this. So a little bummed about that, but you know, I've also read this book a few times. I pull it out every now and then as a reference when I'm looking up stuff. It's an important book to me, from one of the most important artists and occultists of the 20th century. He had such an influence on modern occultism, especially in the latter half of the century. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. There's a lot of great videos that go into biographical data, and as I said, if you're really interested in the biography, check out this book. I have a few decks that are coming in soon that I will probably be doing a review of some tarot decks soon. So yeah, I hope everybody has a good holiday coming up, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.